By the late summer of 2011, the tennis world arrived in New York not to witness a traditional competition, but to deal with an anomaly in tennis matrix. For years, the US Open had been the personal playground of the old guard. It was the city where Roger Federer had won five consecutive titles, and where Rafael Nadal had completed his career Grand Slam year before. Sport was defined by their duopoly and predictable narrative that the New York crowds adored. Hi guys, my name is Charlie, and I have a confession to make. I am not real. This is an AI. Why, you ask? Well, if you're like me with anxiety to talk on camera, you might understand. This way is just easier for me to get my ideas and especially my words out there. No other reason. I like making videos, and this way I'm able to do them. Now, if you're still here, it's a sign for me to stop blabbing about myself and continue with the story. The 2011 season had already been anything but normal. Djokovic arrived to New York with an absurd 57-2 win-loss record, got the Australian Open and Wimbledon, and defeated Nadal in 5 consecutive finals. Despite this unprecedented dominance, the US Open trophy was still missing. He had reached the final twice before, losing to Federer in 2007 and Nadal in 2010. The early rounds of the tournament served as a terrifying showcase of Djokovic's evolution. No breathing issues or mid-match mental lapses that had affected his earlier career. This new Djokovic was a machine. His return of serve had become the single most feared weapon in the sport. He could neutralize the biggest servers, and this allowed him to control the baseline more consistently. He was not just beating players, he was suffocating them. But the true test of this new era arrived in the semifinal, where he was confronted by his greatest opponent in New York, Roger Federer. This was their 5th consecutive meeting at the US Open. The tension was crazy. For the first 2 sets, the old script seemed to be playing out flawlessly. Federer was gliding around the court, hitting lines with elegant precision, and quickly took a 2-set lead. The crowd roared its approval, ready to send the Serbian challenger packing. But Djokovic refused to fold. He won the 3rd and 4th set, forcing Roger into a decider. 6 games to 2. That 5th set is embedded in the history of the sport. Federer broke Djokovic's serve and found himself serving for the match at 5-3. The score ticked to 40-15, 2 match points for the Swiss maestro. The stadium was vibrating with the expectation of his victory. Federer tossed the ball and hit a wide, amazing first serve that would have ended the tournament for anyone else. Instead, Djokovic stepped into the court, closed his eyes to the pressure, and unleashed a cross-court forehand return of such power that it was a clean winner before Federer could even finish his follow-through. Djokovic didn't even watch the ball land. He turned to the crowd, nodded his head, and raised his arms with a grin, asking crowd for some noise. After he broke Federer's serve, he won 4 consecutive games and finished the 5th set 7-5. Their post-match reactions perfectly captured the shifting power dynamic of the tour. A visibly rattled and frustrated Federer struggled to comprehend the audacity of the shot.
The way he returns that, it's just not a guy who believes much, much anymore in winning, and then to lose against someone like that, it's very disappointing because you feel like he was mentally out of it already, and just gets the lucky shot in and off you go.
Djokovic was totally unfazed, responding with the quiet arrogance of a man who knew he had fundamentally broken his opponent's spirit.
That forehand return, I cannot explain it. I don't know how it happened. It was just, I read his serve and I was on the ball and I had to hit it hard, and it got in, luckily for me.
With Federer gone, the final hurdle was the defending champion, Rafael Nadal. Matching up against Nadal required a completely different type of resilience. The Spaniard had spent the entire year losing to Djokovic, and he arrived at the final like a man possessed, desperate to defend his New York crown. From the first ball, the final was a brutal physical war. The first 2 sets, Djokovic was untouchable. He took the ball early, hitting flat, deep shots that neutralized Nadal's heavy topspin, taking the first set 6-2 and the second 6-4. But Nadal, arguably the greatest fighter the tennis has ever seen, refused to go quietly. The 3rd set turned into an agonizing 84-minute war. Every rally felt like a heavyweight boxing round. Nadal took the set in a tiebreak, and the momentum seemed to shift. But the 2011 version of Novak Djokovic was built differently. In the 4th set, instead of collapsing, he found a reserve of energy that defied logic. He swung through the pain, breaking Nadal's serve and his spirit, ultimately closing out the set 6-1 to claim his first US Open title. Nadal understood exactly what he had just witnessed. In the post-match ceremony, he acknowledged the new reality of the tour.
But you know what, this guy is doing unbelievable things, so just congratulate Novak, congratulations for everything. Congratulations to your team. What you did this year is probably impossible to repeat, so well done.
This victory was far more than just a trophy. It was the definitive proof that the Big Two era was over. Djokovic had won 3 Grand Slams in a single year, finishing with a record $12.6 million in prize money. The 2011 US Open remains the gold standard of Djokovic's year end. It wasn't just about the fact that he won, it was how he won. He proved that he didn't need the crowd's love. As the lights went out on Arthur Ashe Stadium, Djokovic ceased to be just a challenger. He became an undisputed king, relentless standard of perfection, and a reminder that in the history of sports, the most dangerous competitors are the ones who refuse to read the established script. Thank you so much for watching this video. It really does mean a lot to me. Make sure to like and subscribe, otherwise I am unable to sleep at night.